Hi, this is Paul Preuss with Metaphase Lighting Technologies, and this is an application note on UV use cases. Here's the agenda for what we're going to be going over in this short video, and I'm going to be showing a lot of different pictures so you can see some of the contrast that UV lighting can provide. Applications and industries where you see a lot of UV lighting, food and beverage inspection, where you can tell if product or contaminants leaked onto some of the containers, security and authentication, think currency, where you can see different types of markers to see if they're authentic, quality control, and a host of different manufacturing and distribution industries, and then biomedical imaging, a lot of times where you put hidden batch numbers or lot numbers on a product that you can only read with a UV light. That way you can tell if they're authentic, the originals, no one's tampered with them. Okay, so UV on the EM spectrum here, it is below visible and above X-rays. Mostly in machine vision, we're going to be in this UVA, UVB range, where we're most commonly seeing wavelengths of UV 365 and UV 395, so 365 nanometers or 395 nanometers. Okay, why use UV lighting? So here are some things that you can do with it. Fluorescence imaging. So you can use UV lighting to excite fluorescent materials where they'll reflect at a different wavelength. So a lot of times you could set UV lighting onto an object and it will reflect back at blue light. You can put a bandpass filter on your camera and then you can then detect the fluorescence from that image. You can get improved contrast where if you have an object in its background kind of blending together with visible light, say a very dark object, dark background, or a white object, white background, you can't really get that contrast. UV or other non-visible lighting can sometimes provide that contrast that you can't get in any other type of lighting. Invisible markings, currency identification, that's a big one where you can see markings to make sure something's not counterfeit. We'll see this in food and biomedical too, where you put lot numbers, dates on there that you don't want the customer seeing, but you want to be able to go look at that and find that lot number, batch number, expiration date, stuff like that. And then non-destructive testing, it allows for defects or other features to be detected with maybe some type of UV dye without damaging the material that's inspected. So you can dope things with UV fluorescent material, and then you can inspect that material to see that everything's intact by getting that fluorescence back from that image. And that's a type of quality control that you can do with machine vision without having to destroy anything. Right, some UV examples here. Here's hydraulic fluid contamination. So you have a product here, think about some milk cartons or something like that, and it's being run over conveyor belts that use hydraulic fluid. So if you dope the hydraulic fluid with some type of UV fluorescing material, you look at this with a UV light and UV camera. If any of that material is leaking on your product, if there's some type of damage to your assembly line, it's leaking on your product, you can immediately detect it right there because it's going to shine very bright in the camera. So this allows, especially in the food or pharma industry where you're very concerned about quality, there can be no even trace contaminants on there because it would show up very readily to your camera. Okay, we discussed about packaging material where you want to put some type of lot number or barcode on your product, but you don't want your customers seeing that, or you don't want someone able to manipulate that. You put it in a UV material that can only be picked up by a UV camera. So when you're inspecting for that, you can see it. It's readily identifiable, but then it's not on your product moving forward that anyone can see with their naked eye. Okay, here's just another application picture with that hidden barcode. You see this pharmaceutical pill bottle here. To the naked eye, just be a white bottle, but when you shine it under UV, you come up with a barcode and you can track its lot number, and you don't have to have the customer seeing that, and it can't really be easily tampered with. All right, here's a picture of another example for packaging and sealants. As you can see right here, we're joining two pieces together with a clear sealant. Clear can be very hard to pick up visible. You don't know if there's a very good seal on that, but if you dope your sealing material with some type of UV fluorescent material, you can tell if that seal has been completed around because it will show up very bright on the camera. Another application is bottle inspection. We'll see that beverage companies will add a fluorescent dye to their cleaning solution of their bottles and then inspect them under UV light to make sure that all that cleaning solution has been removed from their bottles before adding water or any other type of beverage to that bottle. A few things you want to consider here if you're going to be looking at UV lighting in your applications. The cost to add the UV pigment, a lot of times you're doping material with that. So what is that going to cost you over all the different things that you're going to be looking at? Eye safety, it's not visible light now, it's UV. So eye safety and skin safety. So you always want to go to your eye safety ratings and make sure that hasn't changed and it's suitable for where you're using it. Often, if you're using fluorescence, you'll need a bandpass filter to isolate that wavelength that's going to be fluoresced back to the camera. The lifetimes of the LEDs are definitely less on UVs, although they're getting better. And then the cost, normally a little bit more, but also that is coming down as well. And then material limitations, not everything will fluoresce. So just like not everything can be seen under visible, not everything can be seen under UV, but this just puts another tool in your toolkit. All right. I know you can't ask me any questions here, but we're always available to answer your questions. You can visit us on our website at metaphasetech.com, or you can email us at sales@metaphase-tech.com. Thanks for listening.